So thank you so much for joining us today. We have a little class for you that I think is a great way to kind of get back to basics. It's been a while since I've been on a Zoom call teaching an essential oil class, and I have a few new essential oil doTERRA builders, and I thought it would be a great opportunity for them to hear presentation and participate in that presentation so that they could feel comfortable making the presentation themselves to their own prospects. So that was one of my motivators to get us started. I have an agenda for us to follow over the next several months for different topics that we're going to cover. And if you have any ideas, I'm all ears. I'm always happy to hear what is on your mind and what you need support with. So again, this is Essential Oils Made Easy. Okay, so this class is to empower you. And I was really inspired by Ossnath, who's on the call today, because she made a comment to me several weeks ago, and she said she felt like she missed the boat when it came to using and understanding essential oils. And I'm sure she's not the only one. I think there's probably a lot of us that either think we know how to use them, or we used them and we weren't sure if we did it right or how to use them and what brand is better than the other. So this class is going to take you from feeling skeptical and uncertain to being more confident and knowledgeable about your oils. I think it's so important to ask you to consider where you are in your life right now. And I just asked, you want to love your life? I'm sure you do. But when your body is riddled with health symptoms, it's really hard to enjoy your day, and it can really impede the quality of your life. So I want you to start living a life you love when you finally resolve the health symptoms that are keeping you feeling sick and tired. And I had to add old. I didn't want to, but I did. And many of the conventional medications that we pick up off the shelf create more dysfunction because they're masking symptoms. They're not really helping heal you. They're full of synthetics that your body has to figure out what to do with. Everything has to go through your liver, and your liver can get quite overwhelmed. And then, of course, we're not getting to the root cause of the issues when we're using medications that simply mask our symptoms. So this class, we're going to be talking about the healing power of nature. I mean, we are nature, we're from nature. And fortunately for us, our bodies recognize the healing properties of plants. Okay, so I'd like you to just take a moment and consider what your top health concerns are. And if you have a piece of paper near you, you could write down your top 3 ideas. And maybe during our class today, you're going to come away with a protocol or an ingredient, an essential oil that you think, that might be the thing that's going to help me turn the corner and really help resolve this symptom. Some of the things that I hear about most often would be about finding your healthy weight. Certainly digestive issues are at the top of the list for a lot of people. Poor sleep, maybe hormonal imbalances, maybe skin issues. So that'll just kind of get you started in the right direction. But if you have a few that you want to keep in top of mind as we go through the class, then maybe you can find your way to a protocol. I also invite you to share your health concerns with whomever invited you onto the call today. And I'd be happy to sit with you and go over some of the doTERRA products that we have. And there's so many. There are so many products that I think it's really hard to understand the depth of products that we have right now when you're just getting started. Or even if you've been in doTERRA for a while, there's just so many more things to consider. So did you write down a few things? Do you got a few things on your mind? Does anybody want to share what they wrote?
Mine's always sleep. I'm always working on sleep and digestion.
Yes, digestion. And, this is my friend Annie. You're going to hear from her today.
Hi.
And Annie has kind of an interesting digestive history that we're going to get into in a few minutes. So it's a huge concern. I mean, that is the epicenter of health and wellness, I think. If your digestive system isn't operating as it should, that can create a cascade of health concerns in other areas of your body. So let's keep that in mind as we go forward. So my friend again, Ossnath, had said to me that she felt like she missed the boat. She didn't really understand essential oils. And so in my conversation with her, I asked her to be specific about her questions. So, Ossnath, are you there?
Yeah, hi.
Great. So, do you want to go? I've got this coming up.
Sure. I'd love to find out more about what are essential oils.
Great. So, that's going to be our first question. What are essential oils? I I love plants, as I'm sure that you do too. And you go to the grocery store and you have a sprig of fresh rosemary. And one of the first things that I'll do when I get that sprig in my hands is rub it between my fingers, and you can just smell that gorgeous rosemary aroma. Has anybody ever done that? Or you cut into some lemon or an orange or basil, and you just get this freshness, right? So these are the aromatic compounds of that particular plant. The plant uses aromatic compounds to protect itself. It protects itself from injury, it protects itself from pests, infections, parasites. It can even attract a mate from all the way across the field. So they're pretty potent. Not every plant has essential oils. I think there's something like 300,000 plants around the world, but there are only 300 to 500 plants that give us essential oils. What's interesting to note for me is that our bodies respond to those volatile compounds, those aromatic compounds, in a similar way to the plants. So we share some sort of adaptive immune system with a plant. On this particular page, we're highlighting the peppermint essential oil. Peppermint is a wonderful oil, and I hate to overuse that word wonderful and amazing and great, but it happens all the time. So peppermint is a strong essential oil that will support the digestive system and the respiratory system. It also eases aches and discomforts, particularly head tension. Peppermint comes to us from a place called Willamette Valley in Oregon. Has anybody ever been out in that area before?
No.
A really lush environment. They get lots of rain and their temperatures can be rather cool on occasion. And this is where the peppermint plant grows the best. So doTERRA seeks out these sources around the globe. Wherever that plant grows the best, that's where they're going to harvest that particular plant for the essential oils. What I learned about peppermint was that the grower had said that make more money off of their peppermint if they let the plant increase in size. So they wanted the plant to age and get larger so they had more volume. But that changes the chemical constituency of that particular essential oil. It changes the potency and it changes the viscosity. So doTERRA would rather have the grower harvest the plant when the plant is smaller and younger so that we're getting the quality essential oil that we want. And that's unique to doTERRA. As a matter of fact, everything that we talk about in our presentation today is unique to doTERRA. And we're going to see a graphic that will show you why that is. So you cannot take the information that we're sharing today and just apply that to the essential oils that you pick up at TJ Maxx or Walmart or the grocery store. This is unique to doTERRA. So has anybody got any experience with peppermint? Has anybody used that? Yeah.
I'll just say today I had a headache this morning and I just put the peppermint like on my fingers directly out of the bottle, all over my forehead and my neck, the base of my skull. And it just sort of, it took the edge off.
Yeah.
It created this tingly, cooling sensation and it really helped me.
Yeah, that's great. I'm so glad that you found relief because nobody wants to be struggling with head tension during the day. You have other things you need to be thinking about, worrying about, and moving through. And is this Alice that I see on the screen? Hi, Alice. It's nice to have you. You might be muted. I can see your little lips moving, but I don't hear anything. Can you unmute yourself?
It took me a while to update my Zoom on my computer,
Oh, gosh, we're
so I was late in joining. Yes, I use peppermint for digestive issues quite frequently.
And how do you use it? Do you take it internally?
Yes, yes, I take it full strength, just tap a little on my finger and put it on my tongue.
Great, great. We have lots of different approaches to peppermint essential oil, but I think that the important thing to consider with peppermint is how extremely potent it is, and you don't need very much to get.
No, you don't. You don't need much.
Again, that is unique to doTERRA because of the way the plants are
I
harvested.
used to get the ants away.
Oh,
I put it little cotton balls all over my kitchen because the guy was going to take so long, and they all went away, all the ants.
and
Yeah.
Ian, what did you learn about ants? You told us on Facebook about their
For you told me. I was waiting for the guy. You said try peppermint. I put it in every cabinet and drawer because I had been washing them all out, and boom, they were gone.
And her kitchen smelled nice to boot.
Yeah, it was nice and refreshing when you walked in.
Excellent. Some ideas for you. So if anybody on their health concerns that they're concerned about ants, you can check that off your list. Okay, so I wanted to show you this graphic that I found online that I remember seeing at a leadership event with doTERRA. And this is the grades of essential oils that you'll find in the open market. This gray area represents 80% of the essential oils that are sold are synthetic. So that means they're made in a lab. They're not even from nature. There's not one drop of peppermint essential oil in there. So you'll find this in like laundry soap and those Glade plug-in air fresheners. You'll find those in automobiles. I was in the automotive industry for a while, and they have these little tiny beads that are filled with aroma, and the beads are embedded in the leather. So every time you press your body against the leather seat, the beads break, and that's what gives you that leather smell. Have you ever wondered about that? So that's where it's coming from, and it's all synthetic. So the green area is the food grade, and you'll see that in tea. You'll see the food grade essential oils used as a preservative in processed foods. Then the next category is therapeutic, and this is a rather deceptive category, I think. So anytime you see the words therapeutic, organic, pure on a bottle of essential oil, I would be very leery about that because they don't have to subscribe to any standards, any ethical marketing standards here. They can just say whatever they want to say. Does that make sense the way I'm saying that to you now? So they can use those words, but they're not held accountable for that. And the companies that make these therapeutic grade essential oils, they don't have to do any testing. They can just put those products out there. If they 100% pure essential oils, what doTERRA has learned is that it can have one drop of pure essential oil, and the rest of it can be a filler. It can be, you know, some other kind of carrier oil, for instance. I had a dear friend, my friend Lori, and she ordered a bottle of frankincense on Amazon. And when she got it home, she opened it up and it had that, you know, unopened cap sound. So she thought it was a fresh bottle of frankincense. And when she smelled it, she realized that it was rancid. So some disreputable person had purchased frankincense. Maybe they bought a bottle of frankincense and they divided it up and put their own labels on it, their own caps on it. And it may have had one drop of frankincense in it. It said it was a doTERRA product, but indeed it was not. doTERRA would never sell you anything like that. So I would be leery about using, first of all, anything that said therapeutic, pure, organic, because nobody's checking on that. And then I'd also be very concerned about ordering doTERRA's products through a company like Amazon. You want to get your own wholesale account. You want to get it directly from the source, okay? So essential oils are the aromatics from plants. That's what you're looking for when you buy your product. You want to make sure that it's a certified pure, tested grade product from doTERRA. And that means they've put it through a whole host of tests. So doTERRA has set the bar for essential oil purity, potency, and testing. Proper extraction and quality control methods allow doTERRA essential oils to be free of any contaminants such as pesticides, synthetics, fillers, or other adulterants. Your body is going to know the difference. The quality of the essential oil matters. And if it has any of these pesticides, if it has a solvent, if it has a plastic floating around in there, that's going to come into your body, and your liver is going to have to figure out what the heck to do with that. So it's going to cause you to potentially have a reaction to it, some kind of a additional health concern, and the product's not going to work, right? It's not going to work the way that you wanted it to. So CPTG doTERRA essential oils. Capiche? Yes, Miss Wendy. Please, can we have the next slide? Okay. So I think, Ossnath, you had another question for me.
Yes, I'd love to know, are they really effective? Do they do what they claim to do?
Yeah, and again, we're talking about doTERRA's essential oils, right? I'm also going to add that, Annie, didn't you buy some bergamot oil?
I did. I bought it off of Amazon to make a tea, like a lemonade iced tea kind of thing. And just before I went to put it in, it was I ordered it at Amazon because I wanted it fast.
Yeah.
And when just before I went to put in, I read it and it was not to be ingested. I mean, I would have hurt people. I didn't believe that it was full of crap.
Yeah, full of crap. Right. So we don't consider crappy because they're not going to be effective. We want the pure essential oil. And I can't impress upon you how hard of a project that must be for doTERRA. So one of the things that they do at doTERRA is they test every batch of essential oils. And they had a batch of bergamot that came in, and they said, "Oh, congratulations, doTERRA." This was a third-party testing facility that tested the essential oil and said, "Congratulations, you have a product that's 96% pure." And doTERRA said, "Oh, thanks, but no thanks. We've already sold that batch to a competitor, and we're waiting for the next batch because we want it to be 99 to 100% pure." And that's what's going to make it effective, because it doesn't have any of that, to use Annie's language, crap in there. It's just the essential oil. So what's cool about the essential oils is that your body recognizes the benefits of that oil. The essential oils have the ability to break through the cellular membrane to care for the cell or any threats that are within the cell. And I'm going to show you a video that it kind of makes my head pop off whenever I see it. I can't wait to share it with you. So they're really potent remedies. You don't have to use very much, but I do think that the education is key. You have to know what you're doing. So my next slide, I'm kind of showing off 2 essential oils, and oregano is the first one. Oregano is what's called a hot oil. That means that it should be diluted before you put it on your skin. It's such a strong immune system supporter, powerful antibiotic, antibacterial, antimicrobial, antibiotic. It is definitely something you want to have in your arsenal. If you are having, like a little frog in your throat, you're having like a scratchy throat, or your ears are bugging you, that's a great one to have available because you can use it right away and it's going to start to support your immune system. But this is one you don't want to put right on your skin. So you have to learn how to use these products. And I think all of us on the call today are ambassadors for the use of doTERRA's essential oils. We're all learning how to use them, and we're going to share that information with others. The other one that I'm going to highlight here is tea tree. We used to call it Melaleuca. So sometimes in my handouts and things, you'll see Melaleuca, but it's called tea tree. And this is a wonderful essential oil to help promote clear skin, lungs, sinuses. It's really great to clean out the body. I remember when I first got my essential oils, I bought this huge kit. It had all of the doTERRA products in it. It was an enormous kit. And at the same time, I got a respiratory illness. And Kimberly Samantel, who signed me up, said, "Wendy, put oregano and tea tree on the bottoms of your feet to help support your immune system and help you get over this illness." And, I didn't know what I was doing, but I trusted her. And to this day, I still do whatever she tells me to do, like lipstick on before a call. So when I was starting to feel a little bit better, I looked up in my book, my Essential Life book, and I saw that oregano was helpful to get rid of warts. And I had one that was living on my knee for quite a long time. And it said to apply the oregano diluted topically on the wart, and it would go. So I was just using it on the bottom of my foot for maybe 10 days. And when I rolled up my pajamas one day to take a look at my knee to put the oregano on my kneecap, the warts were gone. So the essential oils are working sort of underneath your conscious control. They're kind of tidying up things internally, things that you might not even be aware of that are kind of going sideways for you. So I'd like to show you now, I hope the video comes up. I'd like to show you this video from Dr. Stour. I hope I say his name correctly. Let's see, here we go.
Bacteria have the ability to change their genetic makeup over time for their own self-preservation. Bacteria have their own defensive mechanism. They produce something called a peptidoglycan layer. It's the equivalent of an M&M shell that's protecting the chocolate on the inside. Now, one of the other elements the bacteria are very, very good at making, and that is something called a biofilm. Biofilm is its own very goopy, slimy mess that it covers itself in. So what's now starting to happen is we are finding that once very useful antibacterial medications are no longer effective at all. What that means for us, we have to use stronger antibacterial medications. We have to use more potent antibacterial medications. That comes at a cost to our own bodies. Melaleuca has the ability to come in and start to modify that sludge and remove it so that the oregano can get to the bacteria. And in oregano, there's a product called carvacrol. Carvacrol will bind to that peptidoglycan and it punctures a little hole in there. Once that hole opens, you start to get a passing of ions back and forth. What that does to the bacteria is it allows it to lyse. It means burst open. And we've now accomplished something very dramatic, and that is by doing nothing more than using 2 simple little plant-based essential oils, you have created a very effective antibacterial solution.
So what do you think of that?
It's amazing.
Incredible. I love that video.
I do too. It's really powerful. I love the illustration of how these essential oils work together to clean off that sludge that's surrounding the cell, that's keeping your immune system actually from getting in there and getting the job done. And then the oregano just busts the cell right open. It creates this apoptosis in the cell. It's hugely powerful.
That is so effective.
There you go. So we're learning
Amazing.
and if they're effective.
Quite convincing.
There you go. Excellent. Good. Okay, so you had another question, Ossnath.
Yeah, so what can I use essential oils for?
Excellent question. So you can use essential oils for just about everything. They are extremely versatile. As a matter of fact, even just one essential oil is really versatile. So you're seeing lavender on the screen here. And I always think lavender is the Swiss Army knife of essential oils because it has so many top uses. So Annie was mentioning sleep before. So Annie, have you used the lavender oil to help you with sleep? So Annie, have you used the lavender?
I can't hear what you're saying.
You can't? Can anybody else hear me?
Yes.
I can hear you.
I hear you.
All right, so hi, Annie.
Thanks. So lavender, that's like one of my favorite essential oils, and it's good for a whole lot. It's good for your emotional well-being, your physical, right? It helps you to sleep. The one thing, I just love lavender oil, but the one thing that I thought was interesting is that it is a pharmaceutical grade. and that it really is interesting that it's pharmaceutical. It supports a lot of issues. There's a lot of research done, and one of the areas that Wendy taught me to go to is PubMed to find the research and learn about the oils, which is written in a way that is easy for us to read as well, which I like because who needs all the scientific words? And it's a pharmaceutical grade that is designated and given by the Journal of Pharmaceutical and Board Analysis. These are the lavender is the most pure and the highest quality lavender oil that you can purchase. So it doesn't have other things in it. It is the best lavender that you can buy that helps to support our health and well-being. I use my lavender a lot when I'm going to sleep. You know, I inhale it, I put a little on my pillows from my hand. We put it in our diffuser all the time. This way, both my husband and I get it. And it does, I'm surprised when I first started it, how much it does help you to calm down and fall asleep. It's not only calming for your mind, but it's also calming for your skin. So when I'm cooking, I learned from Kimberly that if I burn myself, which I do every time I use something out of the oven, you could put that on and it creates like a seal on your burn and helps to calm it down. It also helps when you're chopping things up, and if you nicked your hand or cut yourself, you can use that. We've used it after the garden when you have like a little pricks and stuff from all of the pointed leaves, and it helps, which has been kind of cool. The essential oils are good for so much. And every day I tend to learn more and more what each oil is so good for, and different ways, like the peppermint, different ways to use it, the lavender for different things that we're using. It is just good for everything.
Right. And so I think a really important question to answer here is, how do you learn how to use your oils? And I think it's important to have a trusted resource. I love my Essential Life book. It's beautiful. It's pretty to look at. The pictures are gorgeous. But it also has a section in the front where you just look up your concern, your health issue, and it'll give you some ideas on what oils to use and how to use them. I also really love an app, and there are a few, and there are some free ones that I imagine are good, but the one that I really prefer is called EOE Books. You might also see it as EOE Mobile. And I think it's, $7.99 or something like that. And you get it forever. They upgrade it with the new essential oils that come out. And if I'm out with a client or, running errands, and I'm starting to notice something, or my client has a question, I don't remember I cannot remember all this stuff. But if I have a source that I can just refer to that I trust, I'm going to use that. And I feel like that's such a great piece of advice to share with anybody that's just getting started with essential oils. One thing that Kimberly also said to me that I'm going to pass along to you is, you can't make a mistake with your essential oils. It's not like they are toxic compounds that are going to harm you. The only mistake that I think you could make is using oregano right on your skin, right? Because we said that's a hot oil. So there's a category of essential oils that is hot like that. So you want to know that. And again, getting a trusted resource can help. I'm here to help you too. I can't tell you how many times I've gotten texts from people. What do I do for this? What do I do for that? I'm always happy to help. So the lavender, as Annie said, is a pharmaceutical grade product. And what does that actually mean? For me, it doesn't really mean anything. The product is as good as it's always been, in my opinion. But what it means is that that particular lavender is the same chemical constituents every time you take it off the shelf. And that is a huge support to using essential oils in research, in clinical research. Imagine that you're a researcher and you want to understand the efficacy of lavender on sleep. But every time you use lavender, it's a different chemical constituency. Your results are not going to be consistent. You won't have the opportunity to really study how well lavender works for sleep. So doTERRA is moving in that direction. They want to have pharmaceutical grade for every product that they sell. The way they do it is they create a blend of lavender essential oils. So some of the lavender comes from the south of France, and some of the lavender comes from Bulgaria. And so they're able to create sort of a recipe that's unique from one batch to the next, depending upon how those chemicals are behaving and the way those plants were grown. Does that make sense the way that I've said that to you? Okay, great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, cool. So let's go on to the next one. So there are also several ways to use essential oils, and we're going to talk about those briefly. And, you know, I want you to ask questions. If you have an oil that you have in your bag and you're not sure how to use it, just let us know. But let's go ahead and go through these. So Annie, you want to talk to us about how to use them in this particular way? Can you hear me okay, Annie?
So aromatically is a wonderful way to use essential oils. When you inhale the essential oil, the scent molecules travel through your nose and interact with the olfactory receptors, which is going to send messages to your brain throughout your olfactory nerve. Like I mentioned before, lavender is an oil I inhale and diffuse. Breathe is also an essential oil. That's the one that's here. I love Breathe. It's a blend of different oils that can give you respiratory support. This blend of Breathe essential oils has like lemon, peppermint, laurel leaf, which helps your lungs, eucalyptus, tea tree, cardamom, and some others. So it is a blend. It's not just a singular oil, but you can inhale it in your hand. You can put a little like right under your nose. I do that when I go golfing, and it helps to keep the airways open. It helps with seasonal issues, which is nice. I put it in the diffuser at night with the lavender. Since my husband is asthmatic, it really does help the lungs and open up for breathing. And then you've got the lavender that's calming you down, which is great. If you're not breathing well, think about it. Your nervous system is under some kind of stress then. You can't sleep, your digestion is poor, your body cannot heal or regenerate. The lavender and the Breathe together helps for a good, restful night's sleep. There are so many different possibilities you can use with all of the oils. Always putting it in the diffuser to make your house smell nice, all different ways. The summer blends that want it to smell like fall. So I use a lot of essential oils aromatically, and I would suggest that also for you.
The next way we can use essential oils is topically. So you can just put them on the area of concern. It's interesting to me that you can put it on topically and it helps support, you know, whatever aches and discomforts you're experiencing, but it also travels through the whole body, through the bloodstream. So it's local, but it's also holistic, okay? The one that's featured here is called Deep Blue, and we have a product line of Deep Blue. Deep Blue is a blend of essential oils. It's very effective to help any aches and discomforts. We also have the Deep Blue formula with the added essential oil called copaiba. Copaiba is, if you know about frankincense, it's a little bit like frankincense. It comes from trees in Brazil. It's the resin of trees. It's an amazing essential oil because it works on a system of the body called the endocannabinoid system. There's no quiz. You don't have to remember that. But CBD also acts on that same system of the body. So if you are using CBD, that's not a very well regulated product. It can be different every time you buy it. Frankly, if it has the THC removed from it, it's not, in my opinion, it's not as good because now it's not a whole plant compound. We want the whole plant to be represented in the essential oil, not to be stripped apart. So the copaiba in the Deep Blue comes to us in a stick. And that is specifically great if you suffer with arthritis pain. Now the FDA.
I wanted to say that I've used it on my shoulder. I've had some history of shoulder pain, and within minutes, it really helped tremendously. And it's so easy. It's just so easy to use.
It is so easy. It's like a deodorant.
Yeah.
Not under, but on. Yeah, and Ossnath enjoys working out at the gym, right? So she wants to go through a workout with, you know, no arthritis pain and no issues. So it's a great thing to just keep in your gym bag and just pull that out for either yourself or maybe somebody else at the gym is going to need a little bit of support.
Mhm.
You can also see with this particular bottle of Deep Blue that the cap on it is a little bit larger. I'm going to just go back to the other slide. So you can see this cap on the Breathe is a little bit smaller, and this one is a little bit chunkier. And that tells us that this essential oil should not be taken internally. It's a child-proof cap. And I always think, yeah, if your arthritis isn't killing you, you can actually get that open. You can use it. Anyway, so just something to keep in mind. Okay. Ossnath and Annie and I talked last week, and we thought maybe it would be helpful to put a graphic in our presentation that shows you the pathway that the essential oils take to get into the body. And I thought this was fairly good. So what you're seeing here, obviously, is a cross-section of the human form. There's inhalation of the essential oils coming into the nasal passageway, just as Annie had described to you a few minutes ago. We have a layer of bone just inside the nasal passage called the cribriform plate. And there are nerves that are reaching through that plate that are inside the nasal passage, and they pick up the aroma of the essential oil, or frankly, anything that you've inhaled, any pollutants, anything in your environment that is harmful, right? It all comes into the body. It all comes into the body. I can't say that enough. So then your brain decides whether or not this particular odor is harmful or helpful. It's going to make that distinction. The essential oil aroma also comes down through the trachea and into the lungs, where it can start to support the lung tissue, as we talked about that Breathe essential oil blend just a moment ago. But really, any essential oil, thyme is also wonderful for respiratory health. Frankincense is awesome for respiratory health. Anything that you choose to use, it's going to support that lung tissue. The interesting thing here is that from the lungs, the essential oil can move through the lung tissue into the walls of your capillaries, and now they are in your bloodstream. So it doesn't matter if you ingest your oil or inhale your oil, it is going to come into the bloodstream. So we're going to also talk about how to use essential oils internally. And I'd like you to notice that when you get a bottle of doTERRA's essential oils, it's going to say essential oil supplement right on the side of the bottle. Anytime you see the words essential oil supplement, you can be confident that that particular essential oil is meant to be used internally. The lemon oil comes all the way from Sicily. I always feel like I'd like to go on a field trip just to kind of check that out someday. It's from the rind of the essential oil. It's not from the juice, it's from the rind, so it has a different chemical constituency. I would also say that that's the case for grapefruit. Essential oil comes from the rind. And I know I have some clients who are on statin drugs, and how many of you know you can't take grapefruit juice when you're on a statin? But you can use the grapefruit essential oil because, again, it's coming from the rind of the plant. It's not from the fruit. It's not coming from the juice. So why would you sorry, did somebody say something? So why would you want to take them internally? Well, I love the flavor of the essential oils in water. So if you or someone you know and love doesn't drink enough water, it might be a nice thing to add to just make the water a little bit more palatable. Lemon is a really fresh way to get water into the body. It can help support healthy liver because it naturally detoxifies the liver. I always think that I have the same organ, and you do too, that your grandmother had, but we have so many more toxins in our environment now than your grandmother had in her life. So anytime that you can support your liver, I think it's a great idea. So let's try a little bit of lemon. I also love to tell people, so it can clean your liver, but it can also polish your furniture. So you can use this with a little fractionated coconut oil and you can polish your furniture. The lemon used straight from the jar, straight from the bottle, can take off that residue from a sticky label. So sometimes I have to take these labels off of my doTERRA bottles, and I use lemon to do that. So lots of uses for lemon essential oil, and it tastes wonderful. Okay, so I have two.
Can I just interrupt you for a minute, Wendy? I just want to say if anyone is not speaking right now, maybe they should mute themselves.
Okay.
There's
Yeah.
some people who are just not
There's-
on video and not speaking.
Yeah, and we welcome your comments, so just unmute and come back on. So I have two more essential oils to talk to you about. I have frankincense and digestin. And I think Annie, if she can hear me, maybe she can talk about digestin, but I'll talk about the Frankie. So frankincense is an essential oil that has been shown to support healthy aging. It can be used on the skin to minimize fine lines and wrinkles and also reduce age spots. You'll find frankincense featured frequently in the skincare products that doTERRA sells, the anti-aging moisturizer, the eye cream that we have. But you can just use this in your hand, put it on your face. It's very gentle. It smells beautiful. It's got a very meditative quality, very earthy quality. There's also a really lovely story about our sourcing team that traveled to Somalia in search of the best frankincense. And there's a great video on YouTube that I would invite you to take a look at. It's really wonderful. And it shows how doTERRA supports communities around the world. So they go in and they look for places where these plants grow the best, as I mentioned at the beginning of our presentation. And it doesn't stop there. They take care of the community once they're there, and they recognize the needs of the community. So in this particular case, there wasn't enough medical attention or education for the children, and so they got in there and helped them take care of the children. I also have another story about frankincense that I think is worth telling you about. I had a friend who had one of these exams, like a thermal kind of exam, where they can see cancer cells. And her doctor said that she had some suspicious cells in her breast. So she wasn't able to get a follow-up appointment for months. Like, I don't know how you can live with yourself knowing that you may have cancer and then you have to get months before you go back for another appointment. So she started to take frankincense essential oil and apply it to her breasts. And the next time when she went in for that appointment, she didn't have any more of those errant cells. And that's not the first time that I've heard a story like that. There's a woman on Facebook that shared something very similar, another friend of mine. So frankincense is wonderful. I too had some kind of a blemish on my nose that was rather suspicious. And I made myself a blend of frankincense and rose oil. And I just consistently, like I was a crazy woman, just kept putting it on my nose, and it went away and it never came back. So it's really lovely to have these kinds of remedies at your fingertips that can help you move from a difficult situation to a resolution. Frankincense is also great if you have head tension. I love the combination of frankincense and peppermint together. So I would put frankincense on my forehead, and then I would layer the peppermint on top. And the peppermint will have drive the frankincense oil deeper into the tissue. Frankincense also breaks through the blood-brain barrier. So similar to the THC that we were talking about with the CBD oil. So frankincense can break through the blood-brain barrier, which is a collection of very tightly packed cells around the brain to protect the brain. But if you have a terrible illness like MS or Alzheimer's, it's really hard to get that medication into the brain. And so what they're finding is they can use frankincense to help support some of those cognitive issues. So a really lovely essential oil also to have in your essential arsenal. I said everything I wanted to say about Frankie. How about Annie? Can you tell us about digestin?
Yes, I started when I muted myself. I follow directions. Digestin is a blend of essential oils, and for someone who has a really bad gut and has been trying to fix that, and also I have celiac. So when gluten gets into my system, I'm in a ball, crying in pain and stuff. And the one day Wendy says, "Did you ever try digestion?" I'm like, yeah, right. Yeah, okay. She's just put a little on your tummy. And it's never going to cure what I have, but I'll tell you, the pain went away, and my digestion was better that day. I wasn't in a ball and stuff, and I kept using it each day after I ate and stuff. And I'll tell you, I wasn't having as many digestive issues that I did before. I thought it was amazing. I was not a believer at first until I actually tried it. I'm like that with everything, though. But using, if you can take a little in a veggie cap, or you could just rub it on your tummy. It's I would make everybody get it. I wish I had it when I taught, because all the kids that had tummy aches midday, that would have been great to be able to relieve their discomfort.
Yeah. Say something about the school lunches if everybody has
Oh,
upset.
yeah. They always had tummy aches. So, but I just, it's something that I've noticed in my community that a lot of people ask me for before they even knew I used it. But they're always trying to find.
Our diets are so unhealthy. You know, there's so many processed foods and oxidative oils and, you know, things that really don't even qualify as food. They're just chemicalized ingredients. So we have a lot more digestive issues. Ossnath and I have both studied to become a certified functional nutritionist. And one of the things that was really impressed upon us was how every illness can relate back to the digestive system. So if your digestive system isn't healthy, it's going to affect every other system in your body. So let's start there. Just start there if you need to. Okay, so that just about wraps up our presentation. I do have a little gift for you. If you have your cell phone handy, you could scan the QR code and you can get yourself my simple recipes to feel better fast. It's a great collection of some of our favorite remedies for when you're not feeling well. You can also go on to happybodyforlife.com, essential oils made easy, and just fill in the little form and you'll get that book.
Code? Did scan it?
This is a collection of recipes that we've collected over the years from the members of our doTERRA team. And I invite you to go ahead and download that book. If you have any questions about anything that we talked about today, I invite you to go ahead and ask now. Maybe you've got an oil that you're, oh, thank you for the hearts. You've got an oil that you're not quite sure how to use, or maybe you've got something from another company that you're not sure about. Does anybody have anything they want to add or ask?
I have a question about the fractionated coconut oil that you use to dilute. What exactly is that, and where can I find that at?
Great question. doTERRA sells a fractionated coconut oil, and the fractionated coconut oil is a liquid. So sometimes you might go into the grocery store and you'll see it looks like a mason jar.
Right.
Coconut oil, but it's more like a lard kind of.
Right.
This one always stays liquid.
Okay.
You can buy it from doTERRA.
Okay.
If I bought it from doTERRA, I would also recommend that you buy the little pump and use that in the bottle. So take off the cap and put the pump in there. I don't want to offend anybody, but that essential oil, I'm sorry, oil sort of ejaculates all over the place when you try to use it. So just use that pump and you'll have better control over where that product goes. So you also may not want to take that internally. So that's not meant to be taken internally.
Okay.
To Publix and you can buy a bottle of fractionated coconut oil. I like to keep that in my bathroom. And after I brush my teeth, I do a little bit of oil pulling and it will help get rid of any bacteria that accumulates in the mouth. Keeps your tongue nice and clean.
Right.
It gives you kind of that smooth feeling on your teeth after you've done it. So it's a great way to keep your mouth clean. You could add a little bit of essential oil to that. You could add the On Guard blend. You could add a little bit of oregano. Again, it's diluted, just a tiny bit is all you need. You could add the On Guard blend. It's a great way to supplement your oral health care. But how's that for answering your question? Do we get there?
Perfect. Thank
Okay.
you.
Other things that you can use as a carrier oil. So you could use just olive oil or avocado oil. Of course, we don't want to use any of the seed oils, right? No canola or anything like that. Just make sure that it's a nice, healthy oil. Okay. Anybody else have a question?
I want to add that the fractionated coconut oil does not have a scent.
Okay.
That's what's nice about it.
Right.
It's got a
Okay.
really long shelf life.
Right.
So our other oils, they're a
Yeah.
little bit more delicate in that way.
Okay, because I was wanting to use them in like roller balls, like for the lavender, just to do topically. So I was just curious as to what that was versus the other option, which would be the olive oil, correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, you got it. But yeah, the olive oil is going to have a little bit of an aroma to it.
Right. Oh, okay.
And I don't know if you have noticed this, Janessa, but doTERRA also sells these touch products. So these have fractionated coconut oil in them already.
Oh, okay.
Diluted. And there's also, I know you have little children in your life. We
Yes.
also have a children's line. And what I like about that is that they've taken some of doTERRA's most popular essential oil blends and they have remade them with essential oils that are less strong. They're just more gentle on the body, these little baby bodies. So you might want to consider taking a look at that. So we do
Right.
have a touch category of essential oils that come in these roller bottles. You can buy these empty through the accessories tab on your doTERRA site. And
Okay.
then we have that whole children's line, which is absolutely adorable.
Right. Great.
Anybody else got any questions? And you are welcome to send me your list of health concerns, and I'd be happy to go over them with you if you have anything that you are concerned about that you want to help get to a point of resolution. We're here to help, okay?
Great. Thank you.
Ladies, thank you so much. I'm going to go ahead and stop share, turn off my recording.